So today I want to try Pastelmat board. This is, in fact no, this isn't the board, this is the paper, but I thought it would be a really great opportunity to try and show you my first impressions of how I use my coloured pencils on Pastelmat and just see what I feel, how I feel. It's a really textured paper. It's much different to what I'm used to working on. I've got a really beautiful reference photo here. Now I did this horse eye study on my usual Fabriano yesterday, and this was for a very in-depth, I think it's about a 6.5 hour tutorial for my Patreons, and I go into the step-by-step detail on exactly how I created this. Now obviously, as I said, this is on Fabriano paper, and this is the heaviest weight, and this is like what I'm so used to. So for me, I absolutely love this paper. I can get such, I hope you can zoom in, you can get such a nice amount of detail, and I just love it. So I'm really interested to see whether I will be able to get the same results or something similar on this. So I guess watch this space and we'll see what happens. So like whenever I start a horse eye or anything like that, I always try and start by going in with the darkest pencils, just to try and establish exactly where the really dark areas are going to go. So I'm just going to use my dark sepia for this part. Now I'm not going to do this as a tutorial because obviously I did one for Patreon, and it's about, as I said, it's about 6.5 hours long, and it's so in depth, and it's obviously on a surface that I'm super familiar with, so I thought I'd just leave it there. But I just wanted to come on here to really just see how exactly, like, give you a bit of a review, because I know so many people use Pastelmat, and I've always been a bit put off by it because it is so textured. It's like, it's more textured than a vellum paper, but it's less textured than a sanded paper. I think that's like where it markets itself. Obviously it grips pastel like you wouldn't believe, and so people absolutely love it for pastel. But I've seen some really beautiful work done with coloured pencils, so I was like super interested to give this paper a try and just see what I think. My initial thoughts when I'm just laying down this this bit of pencil initially is that normally when I put this amount of like pressure on my Fabriano, I don't really get a very pigmented line. Now this is proving to be pretty pigmented. It's coming through very dark. Now as you can see, I'm not erasing any of the graphite lines, I'm just drawing in as I see, just to try and establish some of the darks. Now I've also seen that a lot of people can layer light over dark pencils with this. So, you know, normally with colour pencil you are working from highlights backwards, so you're working with your lightest areas and then going in and really getting your darkest darks later on. But apparently with this you don't have to do that, so we will see. So I'm not gonna give this like the full tutorial as I said I did yesterday, because it took me all day and I don't really have all day to spend on this today. But I'm really excited actually. I wanted to try this for a very long time. What I might end up doing is sort of giving you my initial first impressions and then time-lapsing over the top with some music, because I don't feel like, and then coming back at the end and giving you sort of like an overall review, because I feel like that is probably going to be, otherwise this video is going to go on for hours, and I really don't want to bore you. So I'm about half an hour through this, and so far I've noticed the paper gets so dirty. Like I haven't even touched, I don't feel like I've touched this with my hand at all. It's just the pigment smudges so easily off this. It's very toothy. It picks up the grain. I mean, the colours come down really pigmented. You don't have to use a lot of pressure to get a lot of pigment or colour, and you can work light over dark. It reminds me a lot of working with pastel for some reason. I guess it's the surface. The pencil just seems to really like splurge out a little bit, and it's just not as clear, and I can't seem to achieve the same amount of detail. As I said, the paper gets so dirty, and it's really hard to lift that pigment back off. I have been sort of brushing it like I would do with my on using like a Fabriano paper, which probably isn't the best idea because it does get very smudgy. I haven't even used black on this yet, and I always try and avoid using black anyway because I don't want it to smudge like this on Fabriano. But this I've just been using dark sepia, and this is like, I don't know, so far I'm like not overwhelmed with this paper. I really don't like Pastelmat watercolour pencil. It is quick, I will admit. I've achieved quite a lot in a short space of time, but I can't get the same detail and the same sort of softness. It looks a bit grainy, and I think, you know, I've got quite a lot of other videos that I want to film. I'm not really sure I'm going to carry on with this as a study because I don't really think it's worth it. As I showed you earlier, I worked on this one yesterday, which was my usual Fabriano piece with my normal colour pencils for Patreon, and you can see, if I just zoom you out a sec, hopefully you can see, if I turn the reference rate off, you can kind of hopefully see exactly what I mean with sort of like how unclear, it's just very grainy, and it's just not, it's very textured. Whereas obviously this is very smooth, and I definitely can achieve a lot more detail on a much smoother paper, and I absolutely love Fabriano. Some people love it, some people hate it. This is my go-to paper, and you can just see overall I mean obviously at very different stages. This didn't look that good when it was at this stage either, but I can just see this isn't going to go well. I'm not feeling confident, and for me that's a no-go. I'm not going to use Pastelmat for my colour pencil work. I will stick to my Fabriano because that's what I know and that's what I love. So this isn't, you know, a video to berate or slate Pastelmat. Some people absolutely love it, and so you can really achieve some beautiful results with this, but for me I definitely will be sticking to Fabriano. For the full length tutorial of this, it is now over on Patreon, so I'll link that below if anyone's interested, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, lots of love, bye.